Yo, what's good, computer applications class? My front camera is totally busted, or back camera, whatever. The one that's not the selfie camera is totally busted. So you get to see this video from a selfie point of view. Basically what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go over how I turned my car into a lo-fi tune. So yeah, let's jump into it. Sweet. Hopefully there's a good transition there. Otherwise, you're just gonna see my hand go over the camera for a couple seconds. So when it came to making this video, essentially what I did was I had my little sister help me and just record my car as I tapped on windows, opened closed doors, honked the horn. And the first thing I knew that I would need when making this tune is like a melodic element, something to make the chords. And so I took this beat, hopefully I can fit something here, from, when you're not buckled up, and turned it into these chords. I put a filter on it so that way it had sort of a plucky feel. I tuned it. Made it loop, pitched it down a couple octaves, and threw some EQ and some reverb on it. And yeah, now it sounds like a pretty, like a chord melody thing. For another melodic element, I'm just gonna cut here. For my next melodic element, hopefully I can make a cool transition there. I took me locking my car door like this, and I turned it into this little pluck. So what I did was I just, cut a piece of it, threw it in a sampler, and I just looped the tiny chunk of audio just repeatedly, and after doing it enough times, there starts to become like a distortion effect on the audio file every time it re-loops. So it goes like click, 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 and those consecutive clicks turn the pluck from a more round sound to sort of a more distorted sound that I thought fit well in sort of a lo-fi tune. For the 808s to get sort of, that bass that all hip-hop needs, I actually took my car honk. I took this honk right here, and what I did was I EQ'd it so much that you got just this sort of bell sound. And then when I put that in the sampler and pitched it down just a bunch of octaves, I realized it sounded a lot like an 808, just like an 808 hit. And so I decided to take that, throw on some EQ, some compression, a little bit of overdrive to get a bit more like rumble out of the bass, and made just a little bass melody. Following this, I wanted some white noise. I actually used the radio a lot. I used this little clip for white noise that I just scattered throughout the entire video. But then I also took different clips of people talking over the radio to get that sort of like lo-fi, sad, kind of like, and she left me for, whatever, like those type of vibes that you hear in lo-fi songs a lot. And so a lot of them were like really sad and like, kind of dramatic. So I thought it worked well. I threw them all. I didn't really edit them too much. I just threw them all on the same chain. EQ'd a lot of the high end and like really low end stuff. So you're just kind of getting that, 1K kind of radio vibe. Threw on a little bit of reverb and some vinyl distortion, so that way it really sounds like it's coming out of like like an old vinyl or something, really distort the quality. For drums, drums was probably the most complicated, not because they were hard to make, but because I had to use just a lot of samples. The kick used this window tap, as well as this sound from the car door, and this sound from, I believe, the back of the car. And it was basically a lot of pitching down, editing the audio file so that way, you know, I'm getting just like the low end and like that 100 hertz range, but keeping some of the high end to give it some punch. Oh, I used my gas cap. It makes this little like clicky sound. I used that to make a hi-hat. I was also able to use the jingling of my keys to make a shaker that I just kind of throw in here and there. I got another shaker noise just from opening and closing the door. So from this door clip, I got a shaker as well as a snare noise. I also used the hood of my car, opening and closing that like this, to help with the snare as an extra layer, as well as the opening and closing of my back hatch in my truck. And then, yeah, from there, the rest was just arrangement. I threw a master chain on there with some multi-band dynamics and different stuff like that. And yeah, sweet. I might put a little transition here because I'm not entirely sure what else to say except here's the final product, and I hope you enjoy.
And I withdrew myself from everybody from that point on to the point of suicide at 21. And then my wife comes from a broken home with a broken parent and a mother who raised her by herself. So we had no clue. And all of a sudden we have 5 kids in 6 years. And here we are with parents. We don't have a model. We don't have... the model was there, but I had rejected it. We don't have any clue on what we're doing except making babies.
Well, actually, these marriage problems of ours go all the way back to the Garden of Eden.
Open up with them. Kelly Jensen said his hiccups this year. So if they can get their hands on Edwin Diaz or Bass Jess from Pittsburgh, just somebody that can push the heat and make that, they got a great chance to win it all.